Colleagues, we continue our working day. Now I give the floor to Presidential Administration spokesman on ATO-related issues, Colonel Andriy Lysenko. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Now, the information about the events in the ATO area during the last 24 hours. In Lugansk area, the area of military actions expanded. During the last 24 hours, the militants violated ceasefire in Stanitsa Luganska, Krymska, Zolote, and near Popasna. During dark hours between 1 a.m. till 4 a.m. and between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m., the militants delivered heavy mortar shellings of our positions, and according to the staff estimates near Krymska and Popasna, the militants launched about 100 mortar mines of different caliber. On the whole, during the last 24 hours in Lugansk area, there were 15 enemy shellings, including 6 with the use of heavy weapons. Donetsk area, heavy shellings delivered by the enemy continue with the use of heavy weapons. These are mortars and howitzers. Avdiivka production area suffered the most there. Russian occupation forces continue their shelling continuously. Also, Zaitseva and Pisky came under large caliber artillery fire. The fire is delivered from a large distance from the residential headquarters of Gorlovka and Donetsk. And also in Pivnichna village, former Kirova, 2 private houses were damaged. Also, there are shellings at Svetlodarska Bulge and on the perimeter of Donetsk airport. General statistics of the use of heavy weapons by the enemy in Donetsk area. 400 mines were launched. These were mortar mines, and 34 artillery shells. Taking into account difficult situation in different directions, this is the record for several months. Also, the militants shell residential quarters, even in the territories controlled by them. According to military intelligence information, on the 1st of August, the militants from so-called 5th Brigade shelled Yasenovata. A local resident died and his wife was heavily wounded. The commanders of the enemy closed their eyes on this incident, and it provoked anger of the enemy that suffered, that decided to retaliate. The next day, these people hit the militants from this brigade with a truck, and Deputy Commander of the brigade, Oleg Milayev, and Rashid Mulahmetov were wounded. Also, according to the information provided by the Chief Intelligence Department of MOD, Russian officers and students of Kazansk Artillery Command School are involved in training, artillery training in the occupied territories. On the whole, in the Donetsk area, there were 30 enemy shellings, including 24, these are 80%, with the use of heavy weapons. In Mariupol area, the situation was tense in 2 parts of the front line. These are Krasnogorovka-Marienka and Gnutovo-Shirokino. There, the militants violated ceasefire both at night and during the day. And the militants actively used heavy weapons. These are mortars and a tank. Starting from 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. at the line of contact it was calm, but later military actions were restarted and lasted till late in the evening. So the militants were active in Mariinka. That's why Ukrainian forces were forced to return fire 10 times in order to stop the actions of the enemy. During the last 24 hours in Mariupol area, there were 26 enemy shellings, including 7 with the use of heavy weapons. And yesterday in the Donetsk area, there were 2 flights of enemy air drones. During the last 24 hours, and the result of the military actions, no Ukrainian serviceman was killed, 2 servicemen were wounded, and 1 was shell-shocked. Losses of the enemy. During the last 24 hours, 1 militant died, 3 were wounded. These are the militants from so-called 3rd Brigade of Russian occupation forces deployed in Gorlovka. These days, the SBU officers detained at the frontline area 2 militants, and one of them was stabbed in Luganshina while he attempted to cross the line of contact in Stanitsa Luganskaya. In the course of search, the law enforcers confiscated passport of one of the countries of Caucasus and also a migration card of Russian Federation and military certificate provided by the LPR. He said that he was recruited by Russian officers in spring 2014 while being in the occupied Crimea. The militant got rank of major and was serving in Prizrak host militant group. Also in Kramatorsk and Donetsk, SBU officers detained 1 more militant. Local resident voluntarily joined the militants in May 2014, and during 9 months, with arms in his hands, served at Makiivka and Donetsk checkpoint. Then he left the militants, and he was hiding from justice in the house of his relatives in the freed Kramatorsk. Also, SBU found 2 people in Donetsk who came back to the controlled territories after they served their sentence in the detention facilities in the occupied territories. The resident of Slavyansk region in November 2011 served his term in the facility in Gorlovka for looting, and after this he was proposed to be released if he would cooperate with the militants. And they wanted that he would return home and became an informer of the militants, that he should provide some information about movements of Ukrainian troops. The same proposal was provided to the former detainee of the same facility, the resident of Slavyansk, starting from December 2011 till May 2016, was serving his sentence for robbery, and then these people returned to the controlled territories, and they didn't want to work for the militants, and they provided evidence to law enforcers. Also, the instructors of land forces of the Armed Forces of Canada will help our servicemen, and there was a ceremony in Kiev of starting the course. This is called the use of force. In the framework of this course, our servicemen will be trained in carrying out different tasks. Yesterday, the president of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko, awarded paratroopers on the day of paratroopers. So 6 servicemen got Order of Bogdan Khmelnytsky of the first class, 12 Order for Courage, and 2 Order of Danila Galitsky. One of the awarded, Vyacheslav Volobuev, he served in the hottest areas of ATO. He was liberating Slavyansk, Kramatorsk. Also, he participated in the raid in 2014, and he also fought for the Donetsk airport. Captain Volobuev got Order of Bogdan Khmelnytsky of 3rd class for his successful actions near Avdiivka production area. Also, the head of state presented the keys of the new flats for 4 paratroopers. 2 of them are heroes of Ukraine, Major Igor Gerasimenko and Major Alexander Parkhun. Fifth channel, Svetlana Rябошапka, about wounded persons, where this happened, and today's information, shelling, and they said that some does this checkpoint work in the... So one serviceman was wounded in Stanitsa Luganska, one more in Krymsky, and one in Marienka, and one was shell-shocked in Krasnogorovka in the course of mortar shelling. As to shelling of Mayorsk checkpoint, state border service provided information, and I cannot comment on this. Do you have other questions? If there are no, so this press conference is